Okay, let's start. Good evening, friends. It's a pleasure to join you today for this session of ours. Today, we agreed to talk about the power of manifestation. I am happy to lead you, and then we shall have a discussion. And because this was among the most asked topics, I've divided it into two, so I will do another session either Friday. We can agree either Friday or Saturday, preferably Saturday, so that we conclude it within the week. The few elements I didn't include in this because it would be too long. I'm sure this is not the first time you're hearing this. Of course, this is part of our sessions we're having this year on seeking oneness with God, knowing our God power, knowing that God is with us, is always with us, and we represent God. We are one with Him, and we have to seek that and find it and find that tuning so that we can live more fruitful life. Before I define manifestation, the book that I've been telling you about of Ultimate Masters, one of the laws that we included there, I believe, is the law of manifestation, which is really about unleashing the power of God in you. And this law states that our thoughts and our feelings create our reality. And what we focus on is what we will manifest in our lives. So whether you know it or you don't know it in this life, you are always manifesting. It is the law. We are here to manifest God. The main reason why we are on this planet is to manifest the Father, the source of every power that we have, of every power in the world. But what is this manifestation? Now, you see, if you look at the kind of the hopes we have, the dreams we have, the wants, the desires, they are all part of the signature that tunes to the fact of our existence, that the things that we are here for are not already there. Otherwise, we would not have dreams, we would not have hope, we would not want things that are not there, we would not desire anything. The fact that we have that in us is the number one signature that there is more than life than what is already there. Every human being knows that they deserve more than they already have, that is already there. And it's how all things that have come to be made have come to be made. Now, at a young age, many of us are taught that what is meant to be will be yours. Many of us, even in our religions, this is the kind of marxism we move with, that God has defined your life. You know, if you meant this to be, how it will be. But according to this law, we are seeing that we are active participants in God's divine plan of bringing heaven on earth. We already went through a number of sessions, and I hope it is clear to us that whatever it is that we are doing here on earth is a representation. We are representing the higher power, and we are the ones given the authority and the responsibility to execute that power. That's why God does not interfere in our everyday life without our permission, so to say. That's why we pray every day. The prayer is supposed to bring God into our realm and make Him do those things that we want to do that are not yet there, that are not yet a reality. So, while many people pass through life passively, because when you think your life has been predestined, whatever you're facing is how it's meant to be, it's a very comforting feeling. But you live life passively, waiting for things to happen to you or for possessions to come to you. But what if you can make something really yours? What if you can decide and make something yours with intention, with clear, objective? You decide that this is what I want. So manifestation, what we're talking about today, is that process of bringing your desire to reality by using the power of your thoughts and emotions. These two things are very important: thoughts and emotions. Now we shall have sessions specifically one on thoughts, the power of thoughts, and the power of emotions. But for now, I'm sure we also know them. It's just really go deep to discuss. So these are the two tools we work with to bring things into reality. So it's about focusing your attention on what you want to achieve and taking action towards it. Now, this is not the equivalent of materialism, because in the end, as we shall discuss, it's about, remember when Jesus resurrected, remember what he said people should have. What was his first word? That what to do with people? Huh?
Peace be upon you.
Peace be with you. And when he was leaving, what did he say? What have I left you? Still peace.
Okay.
So in the end, all the other things that we are doing here are supposed to lead us to peace. It's not that because I'm called peace, it's not me. He said he's willing to you for. But if whatever you want to desire does not bring you peace, you are still not achieving. So masters know this. Remember, we are saying we want to grow to master. We are going through a number of things, experimenting with many things. And many times it does not seem to make sense. So to make sense of things, you have got to reach at that level of peace. Peace is the goal. The end goal is that there is peace. We are able to live in that state of assuredness of whatever is pertaining, so that we go through this journey, this short journey in this planet, and then we continue in our Holy Spirit again. So manifestation is based on the understanding of man's divine connection with God, or what we call source power, where human beings call or wish things into being. Remember, this is the foundation of mastery. Masters know that it's God doing everything. You cannot do anything. There is nothing you as a human you can do without the power of God. You cannot even move your finger. So whatever it is we are doing here, it's because of our connection to God. And because we have that connection, we want to master it. And the connection of God, like we said in the session on surrender, you don't force it. We all breathe, but nobody, you cannot be after a forced breath. You cannot be a specialist in breath. You cannot say you're sorry to have more breath than others. All the most important things in life are available us without effort. But because we are here to express, remember, it's like when you go, all people can run. Some of you are sportsmen. When you go to the pitch, you can all play some game, but for you to play and be a champion, you must play with some more guy, with some more ambition. And this is what that you desire. The fact that you want to eat means food is available. The fact that you want to win, it means that you want to show that you have much more. God has put something more in you than others. Now, this comes out through our action, our doing. And it is one way we are alive. We say that we are available, that we also existed in this planet, and this is what we bring on the table. So we are able, with manifestation, because we have that one connection with God, we are able to call things into being by tapping into the power of God. Remember, it's God who does. Even Jesus said, it is not I who doeth the things, it is the Father in heaven. So if Jesus knew that he does not do anything, so if when you sit there and think you are the one doing anything, you are still also a spiritual baby. Not that it is bad, but like you have a lot of maturity to do it. So we are always expressing that we can tap into this power of God, who has by all divine books given man full authority, co-create on planet Earth. If you look at Hinduism, you look at Buddhism, you look at the Tao Te Ching, you look at the Bible, you look at the Quran, you will notice that the stories are not different. That man is the power of God that is existing on us, on this earth. Is the power that is applying, is the power that is applying the power of God here on earth. And so manifesting is based on that understanding that we have the power of God, we are connected with God, and we can call things into being because we have that super sense and responsibility that has been given us. Now, as explained in our book, Becoming Ultimate Masters, I want to appeal to you, please read this book, not because I made it or that I want you to buy and get money. It is also not bad. But really to grow and understand is good. It's good. It's what freedom is. When you know you're in freedom. We know in this world that creation is fully done by God. These are few principles you as a master seeker should know beyond others. Creation is already done. All things in the world are either manifest or unmanifest. There's nothing new being created. Even the plane Even for us who are able to see floating cities, they are all already there, but we are yet to manifest them. So everything in this world, no, is already created. God created the minerals that are being discovered today. We are already there. There's nothing new that is being made today. Everything has been made already by God, and God has sent us to come here and manifest those things. Now, it's those who are tuned in that are able to do that manifestation. So we know that all things in the world are either manifest or unmanifest. And manifest means they have not yet been seen to be real. Manifest meaning they already seem to be real. But there are people who make these things real. Just like even the people that have come, your grandchildren are already there, but your children have to manifest them. But if you know that they're already there. It's not like you're going to create them tomorrow. But there are also steps that are needed. The children must grow reach some age. They must meet the opposite sex. They must go into some relationship and then some actions, and then the children will appear. Like, it's not really strange. So when we talk about manifestation, sometimes people want to make it sound like it is a very complicated thing. Some people manifest, others don't. We are always manifesting, whether we are aware of it or not. And it is good to be aware, awakened manifestors. So the beginning of understanding is to know this principle, this law, this truth, that creation was already done by God. We are here to make everything that is already created to be seen. We said, Alfred, you're telling me I've been reading Genesis. You know that in Genesis 1:26, they tell us that God created man and what? Created man, male and female created he them. And then he ordered them to be fruitful, to multiply, to replenish, and to have dominion. And then they go on. But in Genesis 2, they tell us, after creating even the animals and everything, they tell us that, after Adam had named the animals, that's when he felt he's alone, because the animals were male and female. But it is him who had to feel that need for another person. And then they tell us that's when God made him sleep, and then he brought out Eve. But he had already created them, male and female, in 1:26. So all things are already there. But for you to get them, you must desire them. You must feel they are there, and their absence is known to you, and that you can get them if you tune into the power of God. That's why we are saying that it is the duty of all humans. It's our duty to bring into being, by manifesting, all the possible goodness and greatness of God. All things you see in the world were once unmanifest, until some human beings desired and decided to manifest those things we see physically, whether it's a house, a forest, and those natural forests which are planted. People plant them. So everything that God did not create is manifested by, we would not see it as God has created. We bring it into being by manifesting it. That's why you hear words like discovered. When something is discovered, these are two words, dis and covered. It means it was covered. Someone has removed the cover. Revealed, it means it was veiled, but someone has veiled, like veiled. Then someone has removed the veil, and now it can be seen. When new things are brought to the fore. I hope this is clear. Now, what is manifestation? This term manifestation is derived from the Latin word manifestar, which means to show or to make tangible. Show or to make tangible. Now, when you show something, when even people have this term of even they make money, you don't really make money. You earn it. Money is already there. You just earn and attract it. That's why we're saying if you understand all these things are related. You don't make money. You're not the one making money, but you can manifest the money by doing something that will attract it to you, and then you can have it. But it's the money that was also at another neighbor's place, in another country. It can come to you if you do things that will pull money from that side. And we know those things, whether it's work, whether it's a great proposal, whether it's entertaining people, whether it's the nation. There are things that you can clearly do, and you know that they will bring whatever it is that you're desiring to manifest. So this term is about actually bringing something invisible, something that is not yet real, into being. It is the hallmark of reality creation. When people talk about reality creation, So manifestation is actually creating your reality. And we are saying here that it is the same with that principle we talked about in the power of the invisible. That people who are connected to God, they know that what comes to be physical, to be seen, is actually in the invisible, in what is not seen. And you have to focus your power on that part. That for you to live and be a useful human being, you must bring something that is not yet seen to be seen, not to live by the things that are seen. If you want to live by things that are seen, it means you did not bring that which God brought you to do. You have not been fruitful. You have not brought forth a new fruit. There is no fruit that exists before planting, before someone knows it can grow and then bring forth what can be eaten. So our job, our role here in manifestation is really to know that we are sent. We are people who are on a mission. We have been sent to make things real in this world, to bring the kingdom of heaven, the invisible kingdom, to come and make it real here in the physical world. This is the physical world. So from a spiritual point of view, manifesting describes a consciously controlled mental process. That's what you're saying, mental. It's thoughts and feelings that transforms your wishes and visions into physical reality. Thus, you actively influence your life because you consciously cause a change in it with the power of thoughts and feelings and the imagination, which I also have a session, one or two actually, on just imagination. Because imagination is God. Imagination is the power by which things come to be. You cannot manifest if you are not unable to imagine. And imagine, these are two words: image and nation. I don't know if I've ever thought about it. I don't want to go into that session, but when you come to think about it, what a nation is and what an image is, you will know why this is very important, and that's what real God is. Now, we're saying that for us, the other key factor, other than the fact that things have already been made, things have already been made, your job is to manifest. That's why we say you call things into being. Let there be. It means it's there, but let it appear. It's like when you tell your wife, bring me that shirt, bring me that money. You tell your child, bring me that cup. You know the cup is there. So it is from that knowledge. But the other way, the other key, very important thing is this fact of abundance. So to manifest, for example, money and the abundance, like to have things in much supply, which is really what many of us need. We need to shift our mindset from that one of scarcity to one of abundance. Now, masters know, all the people who manifest, they know that the things we need are available and are in plenty. This means focusing on what we do, on what we do have rather than what we lack. This is also very key. That we've said this before here, that many times people forget that breath is the most important thing. Without breath, you cannot do any other thing. But breath is happening to us all the time. Unlimited. We breathe every day without struggle. Yet it's the most important thing. Now you think the most important thing is available, but other things are lacking. Now that's the lack of knowledge we want to break. We want to remind ourselves that actually the things of God created everything in abundance, and since we're all here representing Him, there is nothing that we are not part of that we cannot make be if it's necessary for promulgation of His name, for giving glory to His name. So when we focus on abundance, so you have to know that things are there in full supply. If it's money you need, you have to know the fact. The truth is, money is available in full supply. It's a lot out there. If you want a wife, don't be like people who say men are not there, women are not there. You have to know women are many. And you also have a right and a chance to go and pick one of them to be your wife. The same with everything. Farming, you have to know that if I farm, things will grow. And there are a variety of crops that I can farm. We have to have this abundance mindset. Other than the people who think things are scarce. There's nothing scarce in this world. Just even good people are in abundance. Just like they are bad people. Nothing is scarce. But it's you what you focus on. So when you focus on abundance, you are able to attract the abundance in that which you are attracting. You cannot want something and then you say it is not there. It is in short supply, it is for struggling, it is training. You have to know it's available and then you will see that it's actually there. So when we focus on abundance, we attract more of that we're focusing on, knowing it's there, into our lives. You have to know that what you desire or want is available in abundance, and you can have it if you ask. And you ask, then make the right effort. If you want water, it cannot live in your well, in your home, of course, unless it is this. You have to go either to the well, or dig it up, or do your own harvesting from under the ground. There is a water table underground. Whatever, you have to do something to get that abundance. So your worldview, we say your worldview should be that of abundance. When you look at the whole world and what you desire from it, you should know what you are desiring is abundant. It's available. It is the truth. It's what separates those who get and those who don't. So there is an abundance from which you can tap, not scarcity. Then even in your personal life, if you look at the things you know today, the things you know how to do, the things you have learned since you started understanding, the people who tell you are not capable are lying, are terrible liars. If you see people how to ride a bicycle, how to drive, how to speak, even different languages, how to even come to know this Kampala and move it like it's your village. So many things. People will meet you in the corner and say, "You're not you. What are you? Even you yourself, you are abundant. You are abundant. You are not one thing. Someone should never describe you as one thing, that you are this, you are that. You are abundant yourself, and you are capable of doing many things, and capable and worthy of receiving and knowing anything." So this is the kind of mindset I am praying for you today to get, that we live in God's abundance. We are abundant because we are part of God, and God is an abundant God. So look at water, probably just to hammer this home. Look at how much water is available in the world. I know there are places where water isn't, but for where God meant people to settle, that's why people settle a lot around water. Water is available in abundance. Look at air, available in abundance. Plants, a variety of plants, so abundant. Insects, very abundant. Birds, how many varieties of birds? So many abundant. Fish, very abundant. People themselves, look at the people. Go to China, India, even Uganda here. You go to Kampala there and move. Even in your village, people are many of all types, abundant. So in this world, things and people are abundant. So whatever it is, you can attract. You can't say clients are scarce. If you think they are scarce, they won't be scarce. Thank God for that one who is coming, and ask God to bring more clients like that one, because they are there. Okay, I hope that abundance is clear. So what we are saying is that from this abundance, when you know that things are abundant, that the things have been created abundant, you must also know these two principles, all of them, and I'm going to go through them quickly. That abundance, you deserve it. Why do you deserve it? Because you are one with God. You are also a child of God, and you follow God's what? Rules and principles. You follow God's laws. If you follow God's laws, then you deserve the abundance as well. Why? Because you observe the laws, but also you have divine heritage. Divine heritage meaning you are also part of one with God. It's not like other people should live a good life, and you shouldn't. Other people should enjoy health, and you shouldn't. That other people deserve this, you don't. No, you also deserve. You are also of divine heritage. You also have God within you. In your heart resides a true divine connection with God. A God that is in you, a part of God, a divine spark of God resides within each human, and we are all connected to the Father. But we have to know that is there, that is connected to God, but also we deserve every abundance that exists. Now, to achieve this, you must move from limiting beliefs, because our biggest undoing is limiting beliefs. Many people, since we grew up from our cultures, from our, the kings themselves, for them they have an abundance mindset, but they rule other people as if for them they are not anything. For them they have power. You proclaim power to them. You praise them. You do this. You even call them all things. They are trying to look after orphans, which is good. But for them, they understood their godliness, and now they call themselves those things. Even our leaders, our presidents, you see, people think that, for example, the president is the one who builds roads. The president is the one who gives hospitals, who allocates jobs. Yet in after sense, it is the people, first of all, that gave him that power, that say he should be a president, but also they are the ones who pay even the taxes and he allocates. Now, but we need this order in the world. They are also part of the expression of God. But you yourself, as one being of God, you must move from limiting beliefs, beliefs that tell you you don't deserve, you don't have, you're not one with God, you can't do this. You to know that you can do as many things as you can put your mind to and achieve anything that you put your mind to, if it will be for your good and for giving glory to God and helping other human beings. Those are the empowering beliefs. You know that I deserve, I am one with God, I am also divine heritage like others, and I am powerful. I am capable, I'm also abundant. Whatever it is comes, I will learn. This I will also circumvent. So you have to move from limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs. And this is like the litmus paper. In whatever in this world you should believe or take, let it be something that empowers you. Whatever tells you cannot do, you cannot be, you don't deserve, you have not yet qualified for it, it is a lie. You have to know it. You can do anything by yourself so long as you're connected to the power of God. Remember, it's the power of God at work always. So we are saying that our key manifestation now, even if you develop empowering beliefs and they are not in your thoughts, thoughts are the, they call thoughts and feelings the electromagnetic force that works things out in this world. So electricity is like the power that is being sent out. The power that you generate. These are the thoughts. Thoughts. Thoughts are what we work with. The thoughts that you have are the ones that are going to connect you to the abundance and to all this knowledge. And you have to keep in it. You have to keep, don't see things, wind comes and you think that it is stability cannot return. And it's your ability to hold on to those things that we talk about in faith. Now, feelings on the other hand, so you generate the energy in thoughts, but to move that energy is through feelings, or what we call emotions. Emotions means energy in motion. So the way you feel is what actually attracts, is the magnetic force, is the one that attracts the energy in the world to come to that which you want. So if you don't feel something, if you don't feel like it, for example, let me check again to be sure that we are all mature and married. You know that for those who are married, there are things that married people are expected to do. Those ones that also result in if you don't feel like doing it, you know that those parts that perform those things cannot even cannot stand up to their job. So feeling is extremely important to make things to be. So even if you think, you must also have the right feelings and then do the right action. It is action that brings out things. It is action that makes things happen. You have to do something towards, like you have already achieved it, and you start doing as if it's already there. And all this must happen in an environment of faith. And we had a session on faith, unwavering faith, which is the evidence, remember, the evidence of things hoped for and the substance of things unseen. Substance of things unseen. You must know that this that I desire is already there. It has just not yet shown, but it's showing up anytime. It's already there. Remember, we said everything is already made. And that is faith. Remaining in that knowledge is what we said faith is. So all these things are related. And we are saying, so our job is to improve our ability to manifest so that we manifest in an aware way. And this means, from what we have said, that one, you have positive thinking, you have empowering thinking, you have positive thinking. Now you have gratitude. You must be grateful for the things that you have. The fact that you are here on the internet, you have a phone, you are alive, this is good enough. There are people who can't even speak a word today. There are people who are fighting right now. There are people who are barren, God forbid. There are so many other situations that are not favorable. So being grateful for what you have is what attracts more good things. Even in our language, we say it clearly that the one what you're grateful for always increases. Basima Bongerwa, I'm sure in your other languages, you know these things. They have been known by our great-grandparents. Then remember we talked about peace, that you must have inner peace. Because when you know that things are already yours and they are there, you don't need to worry. then there's nothing to panic, there's nothing to struggle for, there's nothing to fight with anyone for. Because why do you fight when things are abundant? Do you fight for air? Now, if we agree that air is the most important thing in the world, that if they said to remove things that are not important, air would be the last thing you remain with. Now, if it is the one, how come for it you don't struggle with others that they have taken it? That one has a big nose, is taking too much air. Because you know it is abundant. And someone's consumption does not affect your own consumption. And even if they consume a lot, even if they open their mouth and swallow in a lot of air, you know still remain with enough air to also to consume for your own needs. So this is the kind of inner peace we must live with if we are to master, if we are to be mastered. Knowing that what we want is there, it has just not shown up. If you want a car, your car will come. Whatever you want, it will come. Whether it comes at what, but it is coming, it is there. It is there, just hasn't yet shown up. And that gives you an inner peace. And remember, true God lives in peace. True godliness is lived in peace, where you're not striving. We say the water flows without struggle, without complaining, without fighting, unless, of course, going given across all blockages. So we are saying that, of course, you need inner peace, but in that inner peace, now it is what actually enables you to visualize. They tell us in the beginning, God was hovering on water. Water means mayhem, like there was chaos, and for him, he was chilling in that chaos. So even you, despite the airs that come, when you have that inner peace, that you are one with God and you have God's power, and whatever it is, you can circumvent it, or whatever you desire, you will get. If it is meant to be by God, your job is to connect there. If it's well good, certainly it will be. Then you can start visualizing. You have to start imagining it. You have to imagine. To create, you have to imagine. To manifest, you must visualize. I have actually read a book on the manifestation mindset, and I included their visualization exercises. So it's another good publication that it's just 20,000 online, and that we have printed, but it's I think 40 or 50,000 printed. You must visualize, you must see it visually. Remember, our job in the world is to make things that are not seen. So before it is seen, before it can be seen, you must see it. It is your job. It is your job. If someone did not see a computer, they would not make it. If someone did not see a phone, they would not make it. If they don't see a book, they will not make it. You have to see it before it appears. It is the law. You must see it before it appears. Now, you cannot see something that is not clear. So for you to manifest, you must have clear goals, a clear something. What is it that you want to? You cannot say, for example, you want to manifest being rich. That is not. What does being rich look like? Is it being healthy? Is it having a car? Is it a house? It must be very particular, very clear. Clarity. Remember, we said light. To have light means clarity. If you have light, you will know that this is the finger, this is the hand. The two are different. Is it a hand you want or a finger? You want a whole human being. So be clear. Otherwise, if you're not sure, then you will be there hovering in impurity, in things that are not clear, and then you are not able to visualize and manifest anything. And then I have also summarized this later with the notes, letting go of attachment to the outcome. This is the real winning mentality. If you know that you are one with God, and things have a process, there is a law of gestation, things have a process through which they come to be. That when I plant something, I have to wait for it to grow. It's not me telling it to grow. The power is going to make it to grow. Then you have no need to worry about the thing that you have expressed as that you want. You wait for God to make it appear. It is the power of God always at work, not your own power. So for you to manifest, you have to let go of that attachment to the outcome, saying I must achieve it by this time, it must be like this, it must appear like this. Let God bring it to you in His own time, in His own design, in His own way. You must know and trust God. Okay, so we are saying, this is what we are saying, so trust God. Remember in Matthew 21:22, they tell us that if you have faith, you will receive whatever you pray for. So for those who are trying to manifest their desires, we are saying trust the universe. Trusting the universe, because God created the universe. We said the universe are two words, meaning uniform uniform verse. Verse is song. It's a universe melody, a universe song, a united orchestra that we are playing. In this world, everything is related. You are related to the clouds, you are related to the plants, you are related to the soil. You know, all that body you have is soil. You know the size you wear. All the food you think is clean is soil. But also whatever you do goes back in soil. If you understand this simple fact, all the pride that really wastes our time would disappear. Even the dog eats the fats, and its nutrients go back in the soil, and that soil feeds you. And you do the same. It is this cycle that we are in. But just that we forget this simple truth. Now today, I think our Muslim brothers began their Ramadan. And as you know, us Christians, I don't know if Protestants also, Anglicans also fast, but Catholics are also in the fasting month. We are in Lent period. Now, many times we take these things to be for granted, but you see, the Muslims wait for the new moon. So the moon and the sun are the ones that are generating the energy in the world. And the moon is the masculine, the sun, and the moon is the feminine. And we have to live by these two and understand them. Our parents knew, our great-grandparents knew these things. So what we call new moon is not real. It's not that the moon, because the moon is always moving across the earth. So at this time when it's new, it is when it's at that point where it can be seen as young, and point fully manifest. It has gone its round across the sun, disappeared, now it comes to be seen again. And it's called new moon. But actually it's at that point when it's aligned together with with the sun. So at that point, for people who know, those people who know that we are one in everything, today, yesterday on 10th, today 11th, and even tomorrow 12th, people who know, if you can declare anything in this time and know that power is strong at this time. Everything in the world is related, just like you see crops, plants, water, everything is related. So people know these things, that in the universe, there are things that we must attune to. Seasons come, there are things you cannot say we plant anytime because I have the power of God. There are laws. Remember, we started with the laws. Things you have to do them in their season. Things have to balance. You can't have males only. There will be no creation without females. If you have females only, there will be an imbalance. So things are always striking towards a balance. When you go too much up, you will automatically come down. When you go too much down, if you have to continue living and manifesting, you have to come back up. It is the law. These laws are there, and we must be aware of them. So we are saying here that we must trust the universe, which is the God's creation, God's mechanics of all complications, the galaxies, the planets, and everything working therein is working out things for our good. So we have to let go of our doubts and fears, and we open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that are available for us. We are saying science tells us that crops come from, our air comes from what? Crops, oxygen that is released by crops. But you know that even in the desert, people are breathing. That air moves, even the crops of here can go, make oxygen go very far from here. So if there is all this infinity of things that we need, we are saying we can rest assured, we can live in peace and trust. That's what I'm saying. If you trust that the next breath of air is coming, in other words, it's guaranteed, and breath is the most important thing, why not trust the universe to bring those desires that you have, if they are good and for the good of God? So let's trust God, let's trust the universe. And the key in this is being in the flow. We discussed about the law of surrender, no resistance. So it's what we said, giving up control. We often try to control every aspect. You want to say things, you do like this, you want to plan things like you are the creator of heaven and the earth. It's not really true. Even your government has many plans of prosperity for all. Even the World Bank has been planning for your countries. They call poor for long when they are the richest. People come take your minerals, but they say you are the poor countries. Because the world is asleep. It's like I told you, the people who are insecure say they have security. Someone is moving with a gun and they say they are secure. When it is you who moves freely with the freedom without worrying, It is you who is secure. But the one with the gun thinks they are the ones who are secure. And the people blindly say that brings security. Security is that. Now, if we can leave this, that worldly life and come to the truth, we shall know that God is in charge always. It is he or she or it, whatever it is you want to describe God, that is at work and is in control because I'm one with him, and I'm trusting that God power. So instead, we need to surrender to the flow of life and trust that the universe will guide us towards what is best for us. So letting go of attachment to final outcome or manifestation of the desire is a crucial step in the manifestation process. If you are to manifest anything, to bring things into reality, you must keep working at it. The people who invent things, they keep at it. You find him doing an experiment. He knows that he will make it through. Then he gets this idea. Then as he's reading, he reads something additional. He comes, tests it, and finds it works. It's not like it is a sure deal. The challenge with human, some people, they think because you are able to manifest, then things are going to be clear. No, this human life is a game. You have to find out things. Otherwise, it will be very boring. If you just say the man appeared and it appeared, there will be nothing here to live for. There will be no life. There will be no expression. You know, we said life is what? God, we say God is love. So life is love in full expression. We must come and express ourselves because we have power. You cannot express what is not in you. You cannot say you are angry and there is no anger in you, or there is love when there is no love in you, or you are happy when there is no happiness in you. You express what is within. So if we can know that oneness with God, then we shall be expressing our oneness with God. You just declare on every expression, I am healthy. I am healthy. This disease is not there. It cannot be in the body of God. If you know the money you need, you say it will come. God is going to bring it. Then things will come. If people call you, of course, you must speak. You must also call people to look for opportunities. But you have to answer to those signs that come to you. But we are saying it's extremely important that you avoid specific outcomes and timelines, because when you put them, they create resistance to the universal natural flow, to the way things are supposed to flow, limiting our ability to manifest what we truly desire. So non-resistance is key. Let things show up. And even in our formation, we usually want to say that things flow endlessly and effortlessly to you. Ideas flow to me on how I can gain a good life. Because God is always speaking to us and sometimes we don't hear. So we talked about gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for cultivating trust in the universe. When we focus on what we are grateful for, we shift energy towards positivity and abundance. This attracts more positivity and abundance in our lives. What we are grateful for increases. So when you know that you already have something and you're already grateful for it, then it will appear. That's why I told you last time that Jesus, this is what is called in the name of Jesus, Anoma Jesus. When we pray, people mistake it to mean that we are praying in the name means character, in the way someone does things. When you start protecting my name, it's not you are Businge, you are Gerald, you are Alfred, you are Timothy. You are saying your name is the way you do things, your character is what you are protecting. So Jesus, every time he prayed, he thanked God for having heard him, for having answered him, because he knew. Like if you know that it is already yours, it's already there, then your job is to be grateful by thanking God for already creating it. Go in the Bible on all the miracles he did. You say, thank you, Father, for hearing me, for having heard me. Thank you, Father. Even when he was resurrecting who? Lazarus. The same thing. So even as people can operate at that frequency of knowing that it's already ours, and we thank God that he has already made it to be, then we just let God make it be at his own time. Gratitude is key in manifestation. The other is this very important thing called intuition. We are told that ladies have more of it than men. It's part of the young energy. They say there's yin-yang, yin female and male. So intuition is our inner compass, and it can guide us towards the right path. Now, intuition is an awareness. Remember, we said we are all within us. God has put an antenna. We are tuned. We're supposed to be connecting to the whole world, listening to each other, sending and receiving signals. And in this tuning, a good tower, a good antenna must be able to pick signals very well. And part of the signals that people miss are these ones coming from God. We usually say that you have to know that in that book I did of Ultimate Masters, Becoming Ultimate Masters, at the beginning I put this simple, because when you ask God, God can show you some things and you see them clearly. But people don't have, prayer is you telephoning God. You're asking God what you deserve, that God give it to me. God give it to me. But intuition is as important, if not more important than prayer. Because for it is God now telephoning you. So you have to learn to listen, to have an ear that listens, so that you get signals of what is, where to go. You hear something telling you call so and so, and then you see that that person had a message for you. You will be on the street, something tells you look right, and you see your OB you last saw 20 years ago. You will think about your relative, you call them and they tell you they've been meaning to call you. Or you find their phone, has problem and there's no airtime, they couldn't call. You call your wife and then you say, oh, thank God you called, I didn't have airtime, I was struggling, please, this is what happened. If you're always tuned, God is always talking to us. So we're saying you have to learn to listen to your intuition. So part of the things you want to claim every day is that you are fully tuned into God, and you are so at peace, and that I'm so at peace and I'm listening to everything that God is telling me and getting the message clearly. You have to claim it. You have to understand it, that you need to hear what, because you're one with God. You're here to exhibit God. You're here to give glory to God, to mirror God. So God cannot send you and not tell you instructions. But many of us do not have that ability. We feel that ability to listen. One, we don't even believe we're one with God. Two, we hardly listen. We hardly tune in. We're saying let's grow our intuition. Let's listen to our intuition. Let's know that God is always communicating, and attempt to listen to what message they are giving us and act accordingly. People have survived accidents by listening correctly. People have survived bad things by, utilizing their intuition. Then embracing uncertainty. If you want to manifest, you have to know that, remember we're saying we're picking from the invisible. Things are not yet there. And it's not your job to know the how and when. Your job is only the who and what. The who is God. The who is God. Is God doing? The what is what you desire. Once you desire, God is providing. Why? Because you are here to exhibit Him. Then the how and when, that leave it to Him. You have to know there will be everything will not appear in a mechanical sense that will be as you think. So let it be able to embrace that uncertainty, be able to receive what is coming. So instead of fearing the unknown, embrace it and trust that the universe has a plan for you. God has a plan for you. Remember, you're part of the beings in the universe, playing that uniform song in the universe. Remember, you're tapping from the invisible, and you cannot pull it based on visible signals or based on the usual senses. If you are in the invisible, you cannot say this is a computer, this is a cable, this is what. You just select a cable B. Once it is there, then you select the power also be there to charge. You see, electricity is not visible, but we all know what it does. We all know it is there. But before you connect it, before you switch it on, it cannot be there. So this manifestation is about saying that in this, once I'm sure that the power is there, then I can call it into being. I can switch on God's power and then ask things to be, and then they will appear, and then I will act according to how they appear to me. So remember, you cannot base on your reasoning that I must smell it, I must see it, I must feel it, I must touch it, I must hear it, because those things you see have already been manifested by others, and you can only use them now to manifest your own. So we are saying also stay open to synchronicities. I hope you know what synchronicities are. Coincidences, we normally talk about three things: coincidences, synchronicities, and serendipities. They are almost all related words. So we're saying the universe communicates with us in many ways, because God here in earth is communicates through the universe, through everything in the universe. Communicates to us in various ways, including through signs and synchronicities. So we have to stay open to these messages and trust that they are guiding you towards your prayer. If you meet someone often, there is something that is being communicated. If you pass a particular path and there is something knocking you all the time, there is something being communicated to you. If every time you do something, something happens, it's not a coincidence. Coincidences happen for a reason. It's a grand plan in the grand play of things. That's why things are appearing like that. So trusting the universe is not always easy, but it is a necessary step in manifesting our desires. That's why we must also learn to, remember we said in the law of warning, if you attempt something 3-4 times and it fails, you have to know it may be a warning, it may lead you into trouble. Right? So when we have faith in the unseen forces at work in our lives, which are the power of God is unseen, we open, we're saying if we know this and we have faith in that power of God, we open ourselves to infinite possibilities and limitless potential. We have to know the God we are representing, we are trusting is unlimited, and there's nothing you cannot do. So let go of your doubts and fears, whatever it is you feel it cannot be, it can't be. I've spent 50 years, I'm now 100 years, this cannot be. That is not God. These years are not your years. They even told you in the real world of yours, some people have got married at 50. The founder of Kentucky started that KFC at what age? You've heard these stories. There is no, God has no limitations. Even in the Bible, they tell you Sarah had a baby at what time. So if those who believe in that ultimate power are not limited by usual things, those doubts and fears, you must let them go. If it comes, let it go through you and it goes. Let it come through you. Keep your trust in God and know that the universe has your back. God always has your back if you can trust Him. The other key principle is this: focusing on the present. We conclude, I believe, that we can go into questions. Focusing on the present. So in life, all things happen in the present. We shall have another whole session on the power of now, the power of the present. Remember, it's called the present because it's the gift you have. I took a long time to understand this principle, and when I understood it, it made my life so simple. So simple. There is no past, there is no future. There is nothing that can happen in the future. For anything to be, it is in that present. Things can only happen in that moment when they happen. So the only power you have to change anything in this life is by focusing on the now, the now. The minute that has passed is gone. You cannot change it. What you can change is the now. Any creation can only take place now. So if you don't master that power of now, it's the real power of manifestation, the real power of creation. And we have to be aware that don't lose your moment, don't lose your present, don't lose the gift you have, which is now, by worrying about what happened before or what might happen in the future. It is now when things are done. Even what you think will be done, it will be now when it will be done, the one you think will be in the future. Even what you think was in the past, like I graduated, it was now when you graduated. You have to know everything happens now. Okay, I hope that's clear. So we are saying that focus on the present in calling your desires into being. And I've given you some examples here. For example, you can say, Father, thank you, Father, that I have this well-paying job that brings out the best in me. You want the job, but you have to thank God that you already have it, because things happen in the now, not in the future. So saying that, thank you, God, for the job I'm going to get. You will keep there in that mood of getting. In real power of God, things happen in the moment. Thank you, God, for the caring, mature, and capable partner that you have given me to have a fruitful relationship with. Thank you, Jesus, for the many well-paying customers that I am receiving and serving to their satisfaction. You have to focus on the now. Thank you, Father, that you have listened to me, that you are hearing me. In Mark 11:24, I love this verse. Because it is the key in the manifestation in God's promise. He says, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. It's a simple, you must believe it now, not tomorrow, not the other day, not yesterday. They're not saying yesterday that you believed it yesterday when you have to do. No, you have to believe now that you already have it and it will be yours. So what is stopping you from owning that which you desire, you want, is your failure to stay in that belief that it is already there and it is yours. And for people who manifest, they know that this is already there and it's mine. I am making a plane and it's me making it. And that is what takes them through those actions of of looking around, hearing, looking for things, testing out different things. If they didn't know that it is there, they would not do that action. So I hope that we can also always remember this, that we have the power in every moment. Every moment we have, that's why they say it's a gift. Being alive is a big gift. Being here now is a gift. Even this very second, there's someone breathing their last, wishing they were able to be here. So for us who are there, we know that now is our real heritage. Our real heritage is the now. And the now is continuous, it never ends. Because at every moment you have the now until you leave this world. So you work with that now, make sure you manifest. But remember, like I said last time, that there's nothing you can achieve if you do not forgive other people. Because remember, they are brothers and sisters. It's in Mark 11, 24, 25. And whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father also in heaven may forgive your trespasses. You won't overbelabor that. Then the other principle in manifestation is this simple principle: don't tell others. Now remember, this is mastery, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, you see, I told you I like Miles Munro, of course several other people, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. There are very many great teachers. But if you don't learn some of these secrets, some of these principles, you will continue going to what Jesus used to call the multitudes. The multitudes want to be excited, but they don't understand. And you cannot get God's blessing in the multitudes. So if you have anything you're praying for, don't tell others. Now, if you have ever told anyone or a group of people about what you're planning to do, or you're planning to receive, you most likely go to discouraging comments. People will tell you that cannot come. If you are not, that one will not get it. What if this happens? So you want to go to Kampala, you have enough money to survive there. Like, people are always full of these. Even us, we naturally have negative comments to others. It's not that it's only one human being who does it. So manifestation is an individual activity. You have to know this, of taking advantage of your energy. Remember, it's energy in work. All of us have energy. You are taking care of your energy and turning source energy. Source energy is God. So you are using your own energy to tune in to the source energy, which is God. Harness the energies, harness everything in the universe. Remember, everything is in the earth, is already made. Whatever you want, all the money you want is already here. All the people you want, jobs you want are here, not in heaven. They are decided in heaven, but they are here. So you know this, and whatever you want from across the whole universe, you can get it if you tune into God, but it's your energy that will it to you, not other people's energy. So if you focus too much on others, what others are saying, what others are advising you, you are likely not to tune into the absolute power, to even listen to the intuition. So we are saying you may pull negative energies from others if you keep telling others about your plans. I'm sure you have heard this wisdom from even old people. Don't tell people your plans, your prayers. Don't. And I have included for you here Matthew 6 to 7, so that you know these things are founded in the Bible. In Matthew 6 to 7, we are told that, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when you have shut the door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father who sees in secret shall reward thee openly. But when you pray, use not vain repetition, as heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. I'm sure you read these things in the Bible, and I hope you do understand them. The Bible is a very good book of guidance of your connection to God, but also to guide your normal human life. Very great lessons. So you have to pray to your Father in secret. You have to declare your things in secret, not in open. Because other energies, you see, they hear these things like wolves have ears. You think, what are they saying? Someone or something will hear your plan, and they will come and thwart it. Remember, that's what the Satan, the adversary is there to always tell you cannot, it cannot be, it cannot. That energy is always moving around you. So when you make it open, that's why I say go into your heart and attempt to, connect to God the Father. But remember, of course, we talked about this abundance. I'm just sharing some verses with you. Again, in John 10:10, as we conclude, that Jesus said that the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have all its fullness. Have life to the fullest. Some versions say have life abundantly. So there is abundance. This we've already discussed. Also in 3 John verse 2 to 5, I will read through here. The elder unto the well-beloved Gauss, whom I love in the truth. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou may prosper and be in health. So for those of you who were asking what is God's will for you, he says he wills many things, but above all, he wishes that you may prosper and be in health. Because those two are the ones that will enable you to live a fruitful life, even as thy soul prospers. Because your soul, your connection, the soul is the one that connects you to God. It's the real individual you. It's the individualized God. So for I rejoiced greatly when the brethren came and testified of the truth that is in thee, even as thou walkest in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in the truth, of which the truth is our oneness with God, the abundance of things, and that we are also destined for prosperity if we can keep trust and walk in the Lord. So beloved, thou doest faithfully whatsoever thou doest to the brethren and to strangers. Remember last time I told you that you must treat others well, serve others. Our success is in serving others, including those we know and those we don't know. So I thought this would also help our thinking of abundance. You cannot be abundance and call things into abundance while you're not serving other people and you're not helping other people, you're not being good to other people, fellow human beings. Okay, lastly, there is this is where we shall start next, about quantum jumping. Now we shall discuss the science of manifestation, which is based on this whole principle of quantum, that we live in the quantum. What we are calling the universe is the quantum, is like a space of energy working. It's what is called the quantum. Now in quantum jumping lets you experience another set of reality. That's what we are saying. That in quantum jumping, you can move from a reality and go to another. Remember, everything is already there, has been made. So it's you to jump from a reality that you don't want and go to another reality. It's you manifesting the reality you want. And this is the absolute truth. Whatever you are facing is what you have been able to manifest. If you want another, so if it is very far, what you want is far from where you are, you must do what they call a quantum jump. You must jump like the people who jump in guns, and go to that reality and start behaving and believing in that reality. And because it's already there, everything, remember, has already been created. So next time we are saying you need to decide for yourself that this is my winning season and nothing is going against me. These complaints about government, about other people, about an industry, they are all not realistic. It's what we are using to limit ourselves. But if we know that they are not there, we are trusting in God, the maker of all, who brings things to be through every condition, then it will be that which we desire, if it is to really give glory to God, to give a good image of God, which means it's good to you and good to others. So usually in our prayers, we usually say, as we conclude, that if you are to manifest, you have to believe, to know, to have faith that I am aligning myself with my higher self. Remember, knowing that your one with God is aligning with your higher self, with your spirit self, because God is spirit. God does not have a spirit. He's spirit. Even yourself, you do not have a spirit. You are spirit, but you are also mind. You are also body. Both. You do not have anything. You are. Remember, you have to be. You are a being. That's why we say, I am. I am. I am spirit. I am mind. I am soul. I am body. And if I exist in all this, and this earth is for body, you have an extra advantage over other spirits that are not in body. Then you should be able to really make things happen in this world, so long as you know your absolute connection to the God Spirit. Okay, so we are saying find your own style, your own identity, and let your heart guide you. It is the heart, brethren, that where God resides. If you cannot keep quiet and go into your heart, have that peace where you can listen even to your heart and know how it's connected to the world. The heart will read for you. It's the one that listens from God and also sends signals that God listens to. If you just pray here with the brain and with your mouth only, not from your heart, those messages hardly reach the source power of God. Okay, so it's important to manifest from your heart. We are saying it's important to manifest your heart. Learn to go in the heart. I told you in that book I did on Ultimate Masters, Becoming Ultimate Masters, the chapter that I really enjoyed doing was that going into the heart. And I pray that every human being can read and know how to go into the heart and how to listen and do everything from the heart. And then you see how it will become easy to manage your life and to manage your situations. So you must create manifestation or manifest from your heart, not from what others are doing or want and promoting. And promoting what they are telling you, do this, study this course, apply for this. Create from your heart. Ask your heart what it is that you do that will take you to the next level. Okay, because we are here to do a much bigger job. So we are saying in summary, we are I am also, and God is I am. So we are one with God, and we have power, the power of God, which is behind every other power, and we can always tap into it. But that power, we have to transmit it. We have to attract it and transmit it. We're in the process of always attracting the power and transmitting, attracting and transmitting. We have to transmit it to bring the things that we want. We are always in the business. You have to use your energy to doing something. That's why there is action. In action, we are transmitting. You have to do something. It's a law. You have to expend some energy to get more energy. It's how it is. And we are saying you must operate in light. You must be clear on what you want. What is it that I want? That is you. You cannot manifest what you don't know, what you don't want, what is not clear to you. And that, if once it's clear, you must know, have trust, full trust, faith in God that it will come to be, and you deserve it, and it's yours already. And you can use your word. Remember, we talked about the power of the word, spoken word. Use your word, speak to the universe, speak to the world, declare things, let there be, and believe it, and then it will manifest. It is this simple equation that if you really do it with full knowledge, with full power, and full detachment from outcome, you certainly will achieve that which you desire. Now, I know I looked for pictures that I could show you that you can understand from a long journey to a current situation. And I thought your president would be a good example about people who knew what is already theirs and worked for it. There are many examples I'm sure in your own life, even yourself, the things you have achieved. People know who they are at an early age, and they do whatever it takes to get, because they know that they have the power and they deserve and that they already have it. Okay, that is it. So let's dream, let's go wish, let's succeed, let's resonate, let's focus our attention on that which we want, let's create wealth, let's focus, let's live in unconditional love, let's imagine, let us feel, let us affirm, let us ask, let us connect, let us create, let us live in faith, let us believe, let us appreciate, let us live in opportunity, let us change, let us act, plan our intentions well, be in the positive flow, be aware of who we are at all times, make sure we don't slumber on duty, so that we can have the prosperity that we want, so that we can manifest the abundance that we seek and the good life that we want. Okay, so I already told you that I have a publication out that I did some time back called The Manifestation Mindset. It gives even written exercises for those really that want guidance. But if in your own heart you go in and ask God, He can also guide you. But remember, we said you can learn from others as well. You have also compiled knowledge of others and put it together. If you want really to manifest and to start to tap into the power you have within you, and to do it consistently, even exercise people have used, especially using water, using the moon, the sun, using 369. There are so many methods that people use, because this world is interrelated, interconnected. And if we can learn how things flow, we can certainly take advantage. It's how people learned how to plant. Don't think it just came. They were able to see that I don't want to go into those secrets. Agriculture was started is based on River Nile. the Egyptians would see the flow of the floods. When the floods come, they bring water. So it's how seasons came to be. Even the time that you count is based on River Nile, on the River Nile, changes in state. But we are saying you can learn from others. So from there, seasons were created, and now we know we can plant at this time and things will grow well than when we plant in another time. Okay, that is it that I prepared for you today. Depending on what we agree, we can have another session on Friday, look more into the science of manifestation, which is really to look at the quantum, to understand the quantum and the quantum field, and how to take advantage of the quantum field, and also see some scientific examples of how people are using this power even to heal. You can manifest health anytime and be healthy throughout. I told you, since I got this, I've not taken your usual medicine because I don't need it. I've been healthy since November 2002, since I got this clear knowledge. It is your choice. So I pray that the Almighty God can guide us and communicate to us that truth, that He is the one working in us, and we're here to present Him, and that by keeping tuned to Him, keeping connected to Him, we can also tap all the power we need to answer the signals that we get, which are the desires and needs that we have in our hearts, and that we answer only those in our hearts, not those that appear to us, those that are being advertised to us. That we can go in our hearts and know what exactly it is that we desire, and it is our desire, not the earth's desire, and that we are able to have a connection with God and to make that desire come true. And that desire will be good for us as individuals, but also good for the people that we have the opportunity to interact with, our brothers and sisters. Thank you. Over to you now for the discussion, contribute, or to ask questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Gerald.
You're welcome, Sam.
I would first want to appreciate the effort and the time you've given to compile all this. And I can tell you, totally, whatever you are talking about is a confirmation of things that have kept resonating in me regarding faith and our relationship with God. But I can also admit today that I've learned one thing from today's discussion, the aspect of praying to God in secrecy. Because when you tell people about your aspiration, what you plan to do, the response is always negative. Either they tell you it is impossible, it needs a lot of money, people have done it and it has not worked. But the rest, just a confirmation. You've talked about intuition, the inner, the communication from God. God speaks to us, but in a gentle, polite way. It comes like a conviction. It's like telling you to do something. Many people, I don't know, I always listen to it, and there's that belief and conviction that you have that this is the right thing you have to do. Or when you do it, it is possible. Amidst all the challenges, like I've always told you, I've had this dream of having a sports club, and I believe it works. When I present to people, people say that this thing can work. But still, there are several that, But all in all, I want just to give a summary of what I've gotten here. And you've talked about the feeling and desire and taking action. And today you've brought in another word, that putting the right effort. That when you have a desire for something, a feeling, a belief, a conviction, you don't sit back and wait for it. You should act towards achieving that. Believe it is yours and it is possible. That is faith. And then take action. Don't sit back. And then you've also talked about forgiving. If in case you have anything against somebody, you have to forgive, and such that the Father can also let you go of your trespasses. Many times people fail to understand this forgiveness. I mentioned it in the write-up that I gave last time after listening. to the other recordings. I say that forgiveness is something that is in somebody's heart. Gerald, in case I have something against anyone, there's no way you can see whether I've forgiven or still I have a grudge against that person. So it is up to us to look after ourselves. There should be that honest, genuine forgiveness that you have let go the person who has offended you. And then you go about your life and relationship with God. Then you talked about materialism. Many times this world is too distorting that you want to be counted in the public eye. Like you have a good car, a good house. But like you have said, when God gives you, how are you serving the world? It's more about humanity, about human beings, people around you. That blessing that God has given should throw in light and happiness and joy in other people's faces or family or the community. So then even that also, the gratification should be internal. There's that satisfaction you get. For example, the times when you do something and that satisfaction, even if the public does not know, but for you are content, that's when now you get the peace. All these things are interconnected. Serving humanity or his people and gratification, and then you'll be at peace because there's no one who is running after you, because already you have the faith in God that is with you, and you are God, and you are here representing Him.
You don't need an army around you.
Yes, you don't need. Yes, you don't need to. Then there's the other. There's something. So just wants to skip my head now. Maybe I'll remember along the way in relation to gratification relationship with God, and I'll remember it. It just skipped me now. But trusting and having faith in God, there are things. It is that inner feeling, drive towards certain things. But I can make that contribution for now. Let me leave you maybe to digest more on what I've said.
Thank you, Alfred, for the reflections. Timothy, any contributions or questions?
Hello, Master. Thank you for the session. It has been having a lot that I'm still chewing on, but I have quite a number of questions. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So number one would be, are there things you have wanted to manifest but have not yet? Your visions, your wishes that you wanted to come into physical reality through the power of thoughts and imagination and prayer, but haven't manifested? Are there certain things in your life?
You mean me as a person?
Yes.
Okay. So should I answer one by one?
Oh, no, actually, I could go on and then maybe later on you can just put some notes somewhere so that, Master, you can, wrap up in whatever way. Unless I see something else, I'll point it out later on, okay? We do that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So then you also mentioned of nothing is scarce. So the examples we have are water, insects, air, birds, fish. And I'm thinking maybe what can be close to me from what I would want as an individual would be maybe air and water. And therefore, maybe air is indeed an abundance. But then, what do you do when you want, when actually other things I'm thinking of, the ones that we really love much, like food, money, the clients, if you have a business, where are these if they are not scarce? And what do you do when you want money? Then another issue would be, isn't it a question of being positive and hopeful and praying and working on something and praying that it works according to your wishes and your plans? believing that, of course, God is good and God is great and able to do all things, but how it actually works may never really be in a way that is exactly the abundance kind of thing. Maybe something that could come out would be just enough. So isn't just this something about being positive or hopeful? But also you could make a point on how do you think this may be different from those who may say, isn't this toxic positivity or the prosperity kind of gospel that others think people are preaching? Then, so in your view, if we have negative thoughts, that is what one is bound to manifest. Then there is a point that talks letting go of attachment. So meaning, is it going to be endless? Like if I want a car, I see a car, I envision it, I pray for it, I desire for it. Is it going to be a waiting game of endlessly waiting for what could happen or what God will give you or the universe will give you? And then, yes, the point of not telling others, wouldn't telling me be showing sort of an act of faith, like the faith we were trying to, we've been talking about previously too? Wouldn't telling others, since we've talked of we are not supposed to tell others because of fear of all that, disempowering and all that, but isn't it an act of faith, you know? And then finally, if I look at the abundance, yes, could it have been the prosperity, that verse you talked of, the prosperity and the abundance, God's desire? Was he meaning spiritual abundance? Was he meaning a life in its fullness of focusing on God, that even when there are hardships here and there or lack, he'll one day not one day, he will instead during that time still give you some sort of abundance, peace, because there's a Bible verse that talks of peace that surpasses all understanding amidst all the anxieties and worries after you've given them to God. So is it that material? Is it that really, the material parts we are looking at? Then I think very lastly, the other issue is, if it is a question of you can't be in a state of lack, then you cannot decide on the timing when you're praying, what you're praying for, wishing is not coming. And then finally, there is also a real issue of the will of God, the will of God intervening. Then it becomes a little bit tricky dealing with the actual part of manifestation. If you can't state, if there is no state of lack, but then as you cannot decide when that thing will come to you or you'll get it, then it becomes a little bit confusing. Thank you very much, Master. Those are my many thoughts.
Thank you very much for the questions. Like we said, good learners always learn through questions, and through question. And even in art here, we are here to ask questions, and then we get answers. Because wherever there is a question, there is an answer, and you cannot get an answer where there is no question. So having a mindset that asks is really very great. So I have attempted to record here, and I hope I recorded them well. So first, you asked whether there are things that I have wanted to manifest but have not. I would naturally have ignored this question, but since we're in learning, I can tell you that certainly yes, there are many things that I have wanted to manifest and they haven't. But also because that there are also many more that I have wanted to manifest and they have manifested. But also because I understand the design of God, the purpose of God. It's not true that everything that you want to manifest is good for you, or is meant at that time that you want it, or that it will happen in that time. So I don't want anything with totality of expectation. So if you have the letting go, you can't say that it has not yet manifested, that I did not get it. Because if it is still, like if, for example, I want to move in a plane, I cannot say it has not yet happened. It is there. It is there, just hasn't shown. I'm sure me, I can see it clearly every day. I hope I answered that without laboring too much. Then you asked that the scarcity, that you have said the rivers are water, air are in plenty, but aren't there some things that are scarce, like food, money, clients? Now remember, we are saying that if you come to think of it, all these things, is food really scarce? Do you know in many places people are throwing food while others are dying of scarcity of food?
Excuse Gerald.
Yes.
Sorry to interject.
Okay.
Before you can go to that point, I wanted to add on a few things in relation to the first question.
Yes.
And in terms of manifestation. Remember when you are making a presentation, you said we should not be mindful about the outcome. We should not tag ourselves, because we must have raised the bar high, but God also has this plan for you. Exactly. So you may want to manifest certain things. Remember, we are many in the world. Many of us are supposed to play different roles. There could be a limit of what you can manifest as a person, and God has control over that. And also you talked about the issue of content. There's no scarcity. You manifest this, and you get contented that, yes, that's what God has enabled me to do, to manifest as for now. But as a Christian, a believer, a God in you, you know that there's still time. As long as you still have life, you could manifest the rest in the future. There could be a timing for that manifestation. And I think also in manifestation, when you talk about materialistic thing, like Timothy talked about, you could be desiring, for example, to have a car. But at times, I've seen in my life experience, at times the world, life generally takes us a little faster than the pace at which we are supposed to move. You'll find a young person desiring to have a car when he or she does not even have a house, for example. You don't see it. A car, at times, you see, it is a luxury. For me, I got a car at a time, and I appreciate when I have a family, I have to move with a car. But to find somebody, you'll be more comfortable. You're earning even little money. You'll be more comfortable still moving in what? In a taxi, but they want a car. But still, you have to keep in your mind that God has a plan for you. It is a process. You are not born and you started walking immediately or speaking. Exactly. You have to learn. You grow with time. Okay? Yes. So the first thing is, even when you talk about food, for example, if you can afford to have a meal, why not? But you may find that many people would love to have a meal in Cafe Javas. But as per now, they can afford a meal of 10,000 or 20 a day. But they want to go 1-4, and they feel they're in scarcity. They feel there's no manifestation of them having achieved that surplus. And it is totally a misplaced desire in terms of manifestation or scarcity. You are within your means in terms of affording and, accessing what is enough for you, which you should appreciate of God. That's the very reason why we should time and again thank God that you are still alive, because you have time and room to manifest and achieve more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you understood that point. That's why at the beginning I had said I would not answer it, because when you have not died, if you are still in this life, you can't say you have failed to achieve anything. There's nothing that you can fail when you're still alive. There's nothing you fail in until you give up. And remember, we said faith is complete, continuous trust, unending trust. Unless again you want to put timelines and say it should be by this time, by this time, by this time, which is another limiting factor in what we are saying. So I hope it is clear that yes, there are things that may not yet be But if you trust them, they will be. Others, there is a turn, you clearly see God, you say, I want to get this one on the left, then he takes you the one on the right or the one in the north. It is all, remember the power, everything in the earth is God's power. We are all exercising God's power. If it takes you another way, you cannot insist. You're playing against the tide. Remember, we said the other word for present is what is current. What does current mean? It is the power that is moving. You can't go against the power that is moving. So once you understand this, then you are at peace. You know, yes, may I have expressed. If it hasn't come and it's good for me, it has come, it is there, it has just not yet shown. It's like the visitor who told you I'm on the way coming, but you don't know whether they are here. You don't want to be like that one who says, where have you reached? Where have you reached? Which point are you at? That is what we are saying we should avoid. So relatedly, food, money, we are saying they are available, but there are things you have to do. The water bodies are available. Water can discuss, but you have to move and go and pick the water. Or you have to get knowledge to know the nearest sources of water. There is always the other ways to harvest water. Others harvest rain and keep it. There is always a way for those who know that they are one with God. And that's why you will also have planned the things to ask God. You said one of them is to ask God to show you the way. Ask God to show me the way every day. There can't be a need that you have and there is no answer for it. Otherwise, you would not need it. Need or desire is the signal that it is available. It is somewhere calling. And if it is meant to be for your good, it's not from the world. You know, there is seeing an advert and you say, I need that. That is different. It doesn't mean it's your need or desire. It's a desire that someone else has put in you. But if that desire clearly comes from your heart of hearts, when you are one with God, when you are quiet, when you are looking into your heart, then it has to come to be. It has to. So what you put your attention to, what you is going to determine food. And that's what I'm saying. So food may be scarce to you, but it's available with others. If you did good for them, they might also remember you. Also, going where the food is important. So there are many things we can do as humans to attune our. Remember, we said once we know our oneness with God. Remember, Nikola Tesla told us that to understand God or the secrets of the universe, we have to understand the three secrets. That it's all about energy, vibration, and frequency. And we said we shall have sessions on all those. But we have discussed generally on them that even the thought is energy. Emotion is energy in motion. The feeling. You are the one, if you don't believe that food is there, for example, it will not be there. But for those that believe it is there, it will always be there. It is the law, it is how it is. Even the things you get, it's not that really you have a master agreement with God or with someone that it should be like that. You see them come, and we have to trust that power of God. That power of God is the one working. You have to learn to trust it. Otherwise, any effort for you to force it or to predetermine it or is bad for you. To the extent that we say, know the laws, that if you get a warning, we said if you're going for a job interview and you start your car in the morning and it's not starting, you go to the taxi breaks down. You get on the border also falls down. If you know in your intuition, that job is not meant for you. However much you feel, there has been enough warning in one day. God will always put those signals. That's when you hear that someone appeared at a place at a particular time, they shot a bullet and they that got shot. But they have gone through a series of warnings, a series of situations. So if we listen well, God will direct us where there is food. There are always people with surplus and willing to give. If you are well tuned. But that's the oneness we are saying. If in God there is food, God cannot lack food unless you are not with Him. So whatever you think is scarce, jobs are many available for those who know that they are available. And don't be in that situation of that they are not available, because you are the one stopping them from being available. You have the power of God. Once you say you're not available, they are not available. It's the same with health. When I tell people that being sick, it's you saying you are sick, nobody else. Nobody, it's you saying it that you are sick. If you say you're not sick, you cannot be sick. Whatever pain comes, don't allow it to manifest. Don't allow it to keep there. The bad things, don't let them stay. Tell them they are not there. You don't recognize them. They are not supposed to be there. The good ones, let them stay. Let them be there. You recognize them and you want more of them. So we really need that attitude of, remember we said empowering beliefs, empowering thinking. So the scarcity, you only see scarcity because you are disconnected from God. The God, the one who created you, the one who made sure there is a parent for you when you came here, the one who has seen you rise to this level, is an abundant God. Things are abundant for many people, so they are for you. There is no one that God loves more than another. Apart from, of course, favor can be different, but we said love, God loves all of us, and we all have a particular part to play in this world. But we have to tune to Him. We have to tune to Him, continue to ask for His guidance, pray to Him, and listen for His intuition, the way He's talking to us. Okay, then you asked that, what do you do when you want money? We have already said you have to know that you already have the money. Money is available and you have it. The challenge is we want bigger magic, small magic when we have big magic. How do you get air? How do you get the air you get? You know that it's available. You just breathe in and you know that it's coming. Even money, you must have that attitude that money is going to come to you. But you know also the laws. Money comes from something you do, or you give, or you attract. So what are you attracting? If it's not clear, ask God to reveal to you. That's why we're saying that pray or affirm that God reveals to me many ways of attracting income. And I earn a sustainable money, and money is always flowing to me. You have to believe and know it. We all are here, all people, for us who are consultants, there's nowhere they train consultants. But because we know, trust that there will be people who need consultants, we make ourselves consultants. And people will be there, they call you because you know it's what you are living for. You don't take up a job because you trust, you know that they will come. You are there and someone calls you. There is work here, will you do it? It is you tuning yourself that frequency of consultant, of ongoing opportunities. And once you think they are not there, they will not be there. But there are people who are benefiting from the same today as we speak. Like we said, if you say that it is scarce, there is someone who has said it's plenty, and they are living in plenty, in whatever way. So it's up to you. You tune in, say that it is already there. Challenge yourself and trust God to bring it, and let Him bring it at His own time. Then relatedly, you said the faith and the positive thinking, that you are saying it is not enough, I think. That is it enough? Now, you see, the challenge, even while we are doing this mastery class, is to think that there is something we do. It is childish to think that you, remember how you came in the world, what could you do other than crying? So everything you have got from the soil, from other people. The same way you will go back. So whatever it is that you are in this world is an effort of other people and God, because God is in others. Even to have breast milk to feed is because God created a person called a mother. So if you focus too much on your own power, on your own abilities, you untie the divine string that connects with the Almighty. Because remember, even in the Bible, they tell us, in all your ways acknowledge Him. It is God who is doing. Jesus said, I and the Father are one. You also have to be one with the Father. You have to be one with the source. The water is coming from the ocean. That's why you must mind the what? The river or the swamp, because all these water from the same place, they all have a common source. All of us have a common source. So if you know you have a common source of the good things, it's not just about positive thinking actually. It is knowledge. It is knowing where you are sourcing from. That the Father, the God, the source energy, the Almighty, where I am sourcing from is unlimited. Where I'm sourcing from loves me. Where I'm sourcing from is abundant. Where I'm sourcing from can give me. But it is His will and His time. Instead of attempting force. So it is you to tune into that energy, that situation of trust, of trusting God. And that's what we're talking about in mastery. You master your connection with God. The biggest mastery is mastering your connection to God. It is the all of everything. Once you master that connection, then you don't need to force anything. God is not forced. The same way you don't force breath. The same way you don't force your eyes to blink. Huh? Do you know what would happen if you couldn't blink your eyes? Huh? That you would get a headache of unproportional pain. Huh? But all these things happen effortlessly. But now on these smaller things, we want to put a lot of strain on ourselves, think we are the ones doing, we are the ones because we passed the NEB, we got a degree, we are so clever. It's not true. It's not true. There are people who died on their graduation day or on the next day. Huh? There are people who lost their head. They can no longer think, reason. It's God always at work. And we have to trust Him. And be in the know. Remember we said, God said in Hosea 4:6 that my people perish because they lack knowledge. It is this simple knowledge that it is God who is always doing. So I will always claim His help, His power, and His support in everything I do. And when I also get results, I acknowledge Him because it is Him who is doing, not me. Me, I have no power outside God. No human being has a single power, even an ounce of power outside God. All power belongs to the Almighty, to the source. That's where it comes from, and that's where we also come from. We come in the world to exhibit it. And then we do our journey, then we go back. So you can have your faith and positive thinking based on knowledge. The knowledge that we are one with the Father, and the Father is available for us, and at that source, the Father, who is the source, everything is available. And remember, you're here to manifest your own journey in as much as you're helping others. So the people who have jobs are looking at you saying there is no jobs, and they're wondering. The people who have money wonder why you say there is no money. For them, they have. But where do you want to belong? For them, they trust that money is there. So we're saying be in those who trust that money will get. And the more that they trust, the more that ways will appear to them. And the more these things will appear. All the companies you see, even the government that is here was not there before. All these things have just come to be because people thought them into being. So also start to think things into being. That's what manifestation is about. Then he said, how is it different from prosperity, positive talk, that is being talked about? This is what we are saying. Now, one of the things I want to encourage you to do is plan. To give yourself an opportunity to learn, to listen, to know you are the God. You are the one creating. What you don't want to believe, you don't believe it. What you don't want to understand, you don't understand. You have the power. Nobody can put things on you if you decide not to. But we also want you to be genuine with yourself and listen. That's why we're saying go into your heart. Ask yourself. That is what we are saying, just quoting books? Is it just saying what you guys want to call unfounded motivation speaking? Or is there some truth? And if you ask God, God will show you the answers. And keep asking unto yourself. So what we are saying, next week I'm going to, the next session we are going to have the continuation of this, like I told you, because people sometimes want to believe in science. I'm going to show a number of scientific studies, experiments that people are doing to prove this whole thing about manifestation, even in health, in sickness, all these. If what you put in your mind is what comes to be, everything that you see has been imagined and created. So for you, if you think and don't imagine anything, or you imagine only the problems, it's what will come. It is the law. Remember, that's why we studied. It's the law of manifestation. What you think and feel will materialize. We are always manifesting, whether we know it or we don't. So if we can control our thoughts, our feelings, you will certainly get that which you desire, especially if it came from your heart listening, not from advertisements and what others are doing. The challenge with many of us, we don't live the life of our own, we live the life of others. You're looking at someone with a house, you say, I want a house. Look at someone with a car, you say, I want a car. You want a job because someone else has that job. We hardly talk to our God, our higher self, who tunes to the source so that we can get right answers of what it is that we will be doing. So it's that we want to see you growing, your connection to God, to know that God is in you, and you can always tune in and ask and get answers. And then be guided in your actions and act in faith, knowing that where you are connected with the final source of everything. Then you also talked about bad thoughts manifesting. Yes, this is related to what we just said. You see, whatever it is you think. Thoughts are when we did the laws, there is that law of mentalism. Everything comes from a thought. Thought is the seed of the world. If you don't think, even you are a thought. If your mother and father did not think about meeting, you would not be. And if they did not get into the feeling, that action would not also get on, and then you get to be produced. But they already had the seed in them, the ability to produce. Just like the mother was also fertile, ready to produce. But a thought has to appear. So the thought is the source of everything. So if you can control your thoughts, the people who kill, you cannot kill someone if you have not thought about it. You cannot injure someone, you cannot steal if you don't think about it. All the bad thoughts. That's why if a bad thought comes into you, hey, please release it quickly. Let it go out. Say that was not possible. God forbid. It cannot be. Because if it keeps there, it will manifest. It is the law. Remember, this is the creative garden of God. The mind is the creative garden of God. Now, and it's God's power working. And remember, God said in Deuteronomy, I think it's 32, 20. I don't remember the verse very well. He's the one who gives life, who removes it. Gives life, kills. The power of God is the same. It can do bad things, good things. We say the electricity can harm you, can also create things for you, can kill you, can give you life. It is how power is. All power is like that. But how you utilize it and how you know it. For people who know the power well, they will utilize it according to the will. So you want to be among those who have mastered that if I want good outcomes, I must focus on. It's not that bad thoughts will not come to you. They will, but let them go out quickly. And focus, give more time to the positive one. And we are saying, go in the quiet. Think about the positive things. Visualize them. See them as if you already have it. If it's a job, see yourself in that dream job. Spend 1 whole hour seated in your own space. See yourself, how do you move? How do you walk there? How would you be dressed? How would you smell that day? Use your senses to support that which you are imagining. And then it will come to me. It's how you attract it. Remember, it is already made. It is already there. You're not creating it. You are attracting it. You are manifesting it. You're making it show. It's what we are saying. So if you focus on bad things, unfortunately, they will show up. Then we talked about letting go. You are saying, isn't it? Doesn't that mean an endless game of waiting when you are unsure? Well, we are saying that if we know what God is and we really understand it, because that's how we started from there, that if we know that there is a source of things, these things you can't say stars just appeared today. That me, you, the human being, you just came and you are just born by you. If you don't understand there is a controlling force somewhere that makes things move, that makes things be, including us humans, that made the body, and every body is the same, there is the head, the leg, that makes things be the way they are. If you don't know there is that source, that controlling energy that we call God, then the problem, we're not even in business of talking. But once we know it is there, and that we are all manifesting power of that source power, then we would not be worried about waiting. Because look, the challenge with life is, I don't know if you're mature enough now for me to tell you this. It's related to non-striving, which you're asking here. That the human life is just about experiencing something. Humans don't want anything, and they don't need anything. Human beings only need God. When you grow, you understand this. There's nothing that can satisfy a human. If you look at the things you have today, they were your dreams some time back. Even finishing primary, today there are people whose dream is to finish, to graduate from, to have a baby. There are those ones whose dream is just to see their baby, or the baby wants just to jump from P1 to P2. You also had those dreams before. But you see, the human is made in such a way that because you know you are unlimited, you are abundant, you are powerful. Once you achieve it, you know you have to do more. You're always expanding. You are equal to the whole universe in as much as you're in the universe. Because you have this knowledge, nothing can satisfy you other than being in God. So waiting on God cannot be that you're waiting forever. You're just tuning yourself to the flow of God, of the overall power. And that's why we're saying, if you have to know, the Bible tells us that those who are in God, everything happens for their good. You have to know it. It's not even for argument, really. If you have lived life, you should know that there are people you have moved from here. You see an accident happen, something move from there, something you are going to pass a particular street. You hear this thing happens. So you know that if something tells you, that intuition you listen to. If God has also not granted you something, there is a reason for it. And many times He's trying to make sure you're still in your path, because He knows if you go in another path, you might be misled, or you might go off track, or you might meet danger there, because you have put yourself in the control of the Almighty. So you can live and act untainted and bothered, and don't worry about the waiting. Because even if you get it, you will also last. Now you think getting 100 million on your account is a very big thing. But if God gives you today, in 4 days, even a week is too much, you already be saying that is little. It's how we are as humans. Now, once you are mastered, you know these things. That's why you stop over desiring material, because they will end. It's why we said that you're a man, you know, that you look at a woman and you say that one. But after getting her, you start seeing other beautiful ones. Same to women also. That man, if that man was your husband. It's how human beings are. Only God satisfies them. And once we forget our oneness with God, we shall keep in this an endless and satisfied. Yet for us to attract, we must be grateful for what we have. So when you are unsatisfied with what you have, with even the waiting, then you can't be grateful, then you can't attract more. That's why we are doing these lessons, so that people can understand from the synthesized. We have researched and come up with these compilations that people, we can live in knowledge, we can live in faith, in a knowing that once I'm in God, if I'm trusting God, and this I desire it, and even when I go in my heart, that's what I feel like I want, and you know it is there, it will come. So I cannot worry about the waiting. I cannot say that it is endless waiting. It is not. It can only not come if it's not for my good. It's how it is. And remember, I've been challenging people. You know, Jesus said, "Let the children come to me, for they will what?
Theirs is the kingdom of heaven."
They will even have the kingdom of heaven, because children know more than us. This doubt that you have, He said, you people should be like little children, because the children don't have doubt. When you tell a child, "I will bring for you sweet," they know it is done. When you tell a child to go to the school, "I will bring the school fees," they know that will do it. That cannot fail. But you people here claim and shout. Some of you spend the whole night thinking about your powerful God, your powerful Father in heaven, but you don't believe Him. You don't believe He can even do for you, yet He is greater than you. But the child sees the God in you. Why faith, we should act like children. Have that unwavering trust. Know that when you tell a child you will be okay, the child just comes and reports, "I am sick," and knows that will sort. Children don't worry about sickness. They only worry when the father is not there. And once you do whatever you do, tomorrow they are okay. So the same with us, that when we are waiting on God, we are trusting in His capable, unlimited power and love to do that which we want and for our good, including seeing what we don't want. Actually, if you read Becoming Ultimate Masters, we say that the flow is the advanced stage. When you grow, some of us now are no longer very focused on getting personal things, because you have grown beyond that. They will never get satisfied from them. I'm sure you have heard about people who pray for nations. Some of people think these are jokes. Like, you can't be, for example, successful when Uganda is at war. But there are many people who wake up and they have never prayed for the country. They have never prayed for the president who is steering. You start a car, you don't pray for your driver, you pray for yourself. Like, that is lack of light. It's lack of light. You know that once you give in to God, there is the power of the driver and someone sitting in that power. You have to pray for that power as well. Don't just focus on praying for yourself. So other things, the driver knows. He will stop, he will go slow somewhere. You have to trust that they are the ones there. Otherwise, we are going to be all wanting to do everything and be in every place at the same time. Yet we need each other to materialize things in this world. So don't worry about the waiting. If there is a way to wait, it will come true. But even if it doesn't know it's for your good, God did well not to bring it into fruition. You have to be in the flow. You start knowing that God will know what you want. God knows already what you want, and you will flow into it if you keep aligned to your right desire, and as long as they are what the seed that God has put in you. We also talked about here about is the feeling, is telling others, not an act of faith. Now remember, we are saying we are all God. Let's not lose track of the facts. Isn't Satan an angel of God?
He was.
Huh?
He was
Now,
an angel.
because you are thinking religiously. Huh? What happened to Job when, in the story of Job, what did God ask Satan?
Have you seen my faithful servant Job?
And what did Satan answer?
I've seen him, but it's because you've given him protection and many things.
Now, are those enemies? Have you seen my servant? Are those enemies talking?
No.
Eh?
Nope.
Please, let's not be children forever, in the sense of not wanting to learn to grow.
Okay.
The two powers, you see, there is a duality. Before we come into the oneness, there is a duality. In your own head, something tells you do, and another thing says don't do. Something tells you it will work, another one tells you it will not work. That one that tells you it will not work is the Satan, is the adversary. The one that tells you you are not God is the adversary. It's not that there is a Satan body out there. The doubting thing, the doubter, the one that disconnects you from God, that's the Satan. So it is in you, and it's not really as dangerous as people want to. It's you when you extend it. Everything you plant is what grows. When you plant more of it grows. Now we are saying that when you tell others, because some people are in that line, that's where they are growing more. It's what they are planting more of, doubting, of not being one with God. They are going to pray for you. You know that people they even say, from even our traditional, homesteads, people used to tell us, someone can, what they call reaching. Someone can take out, if someone knows they can, they call it, they can get it off track. Kugula. You can have a job, you tell someone you're going to start, and they go and do things, and you find they are saying the job is not there. You people, all physical things first exist in the spiritual realm. All things are created from the spiritual realm. So when you tell others, you're opening it to other energies, of which you don't know whether they are positive or negative. That is the whole thing about here. That's why God is pray in secret. God who hears you in secret will answer you. It is another maturing thing, mastering. You can't, if you want something to be, let it be you and God in that energy that is not yet, that is very pure. But once you bring in others, it's likely to follow into other influences. Of course, sometimes they can be good, but sometimes they can also not be good. Now, that does not negate the issue of declaring. Because in the book of, I think it should be Exodus, most likely. Remember when Moses, for example, told, I don't remember the exact statement, but I'm sure those of you who read the Bible very much, you know that there is a principle that when you declare something in God's power, you put a date on God, because remember, it's God who is being shown in you. So when you have God's favor, you can declare things and they will be, because God wants to be glorified. So you can. There is a verse there where that they said Moses would go and declare, then he goes to God and says, I have told people this, so you better do it. So it's also good for people who are in favor of God. When you achieve that oneness, you can actually declare some things before they are, and they happen. That's why they are prophets. That's why people are in that realm of prophecy. They can look at something and declare it, and be. Otherwise, life can always change. People have the power to change the course of things. But those who declare, if they are aligned with God, they can make sure that what they have declared comes to pass. But the general wisdom is that for manifestation, for the desires that you have, those ones, please let it be between you and God, or the few people for whom it is necessary. And the bad thing with this life is that the hearts of men, you cannot know them. And even Jesus himself said, "Who unto those who trust what?" I'm sure you have read these things. In Uganda, I think, is it in where it says in Uganda, it says, like you are so mistaken if you trust others. Now it does not mean you don't love them. Your trust
basanze,
will only
something
be
like
in
that.
God. Wanji?
Obazi basanze, obazi.
But you know what it
Yes.
means.
Yes, yes.
Like who and like it's bad for you if you trust
Yeah.
humans. So these things, I'm not the one who wrote them. It's the whole thing they are telling that a human you cannot tell. Actually, one human might tell another one feel good, but now the one who tells feels bad and goes and prays that you should be done what? You should be sent off track. Now, if you don't trust God, if you are just there, even what has come, you lose it because you have failed to keep, protect it and to maintain it. Because every human has that power to get you off track if you don't claim protection and if you don't keep things to yourself. It is how life is. Everybody, just like the one with God, so is everyone else. And they can use the bad part of the power on you. So if we have this knowledge, that's why nobody can advise you that because you have power, you just go in a shrine and just start touching and throwing things around. My friend, you have to have wisdom. Not everything is for fighting. So we are saying, telling others, this is wisdom. Wisdom, remember wisdom. After application, people have tested it. They are brothers and brothers who have gone against each other, who have betrayed each other. So if you don't learn anything, then people don't learn a what? I will not say you know the answer. Then I think this was the third last. You said abundance and prosperity. The meaning, is it spiritual abundance, not physical, or peace abundance? Now, abundance, remember we said things come from spirit, and spirit is unlimited. Abundance has to first be in the spirit. Now, from spirit, you bring it into your soul. Your soul is the one that understands. The spirit is the connection to God. The spirit's job is not to think. It is the mind, the soul that thinks. Now, once the soul understands it, that where I'm connected by my spirit to abundance, and from that connection, now I can manifest things in the physical realm because I have the body. So if things are are scarce in the mind, then they will be scarce in physical. If they are abundant in mind, then they will be abundant in the physical. So this abundance is the knowing, is the state of understanding, of knowledge that things are there. Money is there. I just have to feel myself properly. All people start businesses have that understanding that money is there. You think money would have looked for water if they didn't know it is there? Money would have planted. Like, this knowledge has been on. People know things abundant. People send you go to Kampala and do this. They know jobs are there. They take you to school because they know jobs are there. But because many of us are now tuning in one small ground without expanding while people are increasing, then there has to be some limitedness. Until more new ideas come up, new factories, new ways of doing things, new imaginations, then we expand the possibility. So it's how the world continues to move and to correct itself. So the abundance is a good mindset to have, is a good understanding level to be at, because it's how things come to be by knowing. If someone, for example, usually ask people, do you think MTN, when they came here, had they made an agreement with anyone that they would connect to their telephone network or Airtel? But they know the customers are there abundant. Today they have 20-something million customers. You see, you have to know it before it happens. Don't think those people came not knowing that the customers are there. Nobody starts a business without knowing the customers are there. It is that prior knowledge that you manifest the customers because you know they are there. If you think they are not there, you will not even start the business. If you start it, You will always be angry, even to the one that comes. You will always not open on time, because you might open time and waste your time. But for those who know, they will be early, because they know customers are there and I have to serve them well. So it's that knowing we are saying you should get. It's the abundance that you have to know it. They are there, then you are inspired to start. That will attract from them what you want. Remember, we said that whatever you want is with people. Money is with people. Jobs are with people. Opportunities are with people. So if you can attract people and serve them, then you will also attract the money that you want. I think that also answers when we said how do we get. You have to serve others to get money in whatever way, and you have to look at where money is, which is in people, and serve them something they will need in exchange. Money is, we shall have like 4 sessions on money. Money is that energy for exchange. Okay, then you said there was also, is it timing and not focusing on luck? Was it that? Timing and not focusing on luck. Yeah, you are saying it's hard. It's not easy. Nobody is saying all these things are easy. Even to convince you people, I'm here still struggling with you to convince you that you're one with God, that you have God's power in you, that you can say disease go and it will go. You can say money come and tomorrow an opportunity comes. If you are tuned, if you are in that frequency, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy to convince people, but I also know it is easy. Otherwise, I would not even attempt. I would not even go to prepare these things. I put in a lot of time. But because I know it's possible, and I know it's also God in doing His work, me, I do my part. I do my part. So it is not really that you time this, you time the other. Those are now struggles that are below mastery. If you're always striving to time things, to say they must be at this time, you are still operating in the space of creating and changing things. Yet the creator is there. The one who does things is there. Yours is tuning to him. So you should not worry about timing, and you should not worry. There is no luck. God cannot bring you here that you face luck. It's not true. That is the lie. That's the devil who tells you that. It cannot be. The solution in all is tuned to that God self, your God self, to God Almighty. Then lastly, you asked the will of God. The will of God that you don't manifest this. Remember, we said even when we said the prayer that we call the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, the kingdom come, your will be done on earth. So remember that we are here exercising God. So you cannot have a will that is outside God. That will is null and void. It will not succeed. It will not bear good fruit. So for you to live a fruitful life, a good life, you must be in the will of God. You must be in the will of God. There's no shortcut. And remember, we are manifesting what God has already created, not what we're creating by ourselves. Museveni is a president because there is a seat for presidency. He did not create it. People are ministers because there is a ministry. And because God created the people who wanted a ministry, it is a whole chain of things. Everybody exercises their God power in order to create things. And that's what is going on. And now your job is to tune into that power. And once you tune in and you know it well, then you are going to exercise that power and tap into it well and go on growing and growing further and further into it. Okay, I hope I have answered. I usually prefer one by one, but you said you had many, and I thought we might, if I didn't answer well, some answers usually can answer more than one. So I hope I have done good justice to your questions. I will take more if you have or additions so that we can conclude this.
Thank you, Master. You have answered elaborately.
You're welcome. Okay, so if that is it, we can conclude this. We want to pray this evening as we go to rest for the day. Remember these mysteries, like I told you, pray, especially in the new moon. The people who, I think the Judaists know, they respect the new moon. There is a secret to the new moon. It has just charged properly from the sun, having it's at its top of oneness. It's a good time to express what you want to manifest. But also, every time you go to bed, you are going into your spiritual self. Please take that time seriously and be in those states of the desire that you want to be, like Neville Goddard said, like feeling in the end. Feeling is the secret, but you have to be like you're in that thing that you want. That time you are going to bed is the best time for you to tune in, because you are going into the creation self, the spirit self that enables things to be. It's a very, very good time when it's going to be active. The subconscious mind, which is your real self, the creation, the female energy that matures things like the soil, like when the real biggest part of the mind is working. I pray that we can learn these divine mysteries, we can learn to tune into them, and that we can use them to understand God, understand the power of God in us, and the power of God the source, or God our Father, and that we can know we are here to exercise God's power, and that we can take that responsibility of exercising that power with responsibility, and be honest in doing it, because God is waiting on us to do the things that He wants to do on this earth. And every time we don't manifest, we are keeping many hidden things that the world needs to see. So manifestation is not really just about achieving films or small things for ourselves, or being happy with what we have created, but it's also about tapping into our power, our God power, create those things that will change the world, that will make the world a much better place to live in, for ourselves and for others. And may we be guided as we go this evening, and may we keep inspired, keep looking for that higher self, of our higher self, that can connect us to that unending ebb of power that is God, so that we can manifest what it is that we are meant to manifest in this world. I thank you for the time and for this opportunity. May you continue in God's blessing, and may you continue manifesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Master.